So hi everyone. So my name's Dr. Will. So thank you for joining us today. These are pretty crazy times. So I'm working from home. So I'm hoping my Wi-Fi connection is okay. So so I'm going to talk to you about MSc opportunities within the School of Mechanical, Electrical and Manufacturing Engineering at Loughborough University. So my talk will last about 20 minutes, maybe a couple of minutes longer. And then after that, we can have you can ask me any questions you have. If you do have any questions, you want to contact me by email. If you can remember my surname, I'm very easy to search for on the internet. Okay. So where is Loughborough? So Loughborough is a very difficult place to say. So in English language, the letters OUGH can be pronounced 7 times, and we have it in our name twice. So that means there's potentially 49 different ways to pronounce our university name, right? So so we call it Loughborough. Americans call it Loughborough, and I'm happy to go along with that. That's fine with me. So you can see we're based pretty much right in the middle of the UK. We are about an hour and 10 minutes north of London on a train. We're within 15 to 20 minutes on a train from the cities of Leicester, Nottingham and Derby. So you can see these rankings along here. So the UK university rankings are based on things we can quantify, like investment in student facilities, the quality of the students we take, the career potential and the income that students get after they graduate. So you can see that in these 4 main university rankings, you can see that we're ranked 5th, 4th, 5th and 8th across all these different guides. So they take into account all those different metrics. We're particularly proud that we have this incredible student experience. So we tend to win the awards for the best student experience, something like 7 years out of the last 10 years, which is a combination of the societies, the facilities, the accommodation, the sports, the networking, the careers, and all those sort of things. If we look at specifically at mechanical, electrical, manufacturing engineering, we are ranked 3rd in the UK for electrical engineering, 5th in the UK for mechanical engineering, and at undergraduate level, for kind of a national survey, said we were kind of 90% of students are happy with how the course is being taught. And also, as of last week, we're now ranked in the top 100 in the world for mechanical and manufacturing engineering. So we rank very highly, both as a university and as a student experience, and also in a particular disciplines. Okay, so you can see this is our campus. So you can see our campus. So the first thing you can see about our campus is it's a big green kind of beautiful site. So it's very friendly, it's very welcoming. It's very safe. There's some security guards at this end, and there's also some security guards at the far end, if you can see my mouse. So it means it's very safe, it's very friendly, and because everyone on campus is another student or a member of staff, it kind of breaks down those barriers that you get in some places, and it's just a very friendly, welcoming place. You can see we have a lot of green spaces. So Loughborough University is very famous for its sports. I think that so the UK has a national competition for sports every single year, and I think Loughborough has won it every single time. I think that's like 37, 38 years. And if we declared independence as a nation, Loughborough would have finished 17th in the last Olympics in the middle table. So we're quite proud of our sport. So just to give you an idea of campus, we have the student union down here, swimming pool. We have a lot of accommodation in the middle. The engineering part of campus is on this far side down here. So in the top right hand corner of the screen. So all the engineering is over there. I did have a kind of a link to show you that in a bit more detail. I don't think that would work in this online forum. But yeah, so there's one small road that goes across campus, and that is limited to 15 miles per hour. So it's very friendly and it's very safe, and there's just very high level of interaction between the students. Okay. So in our school, I think we are one of the biggest engineering schools in the UK. So we have about 2,000 students, about 250 researchers, about 300 staff. So we have about 140 academic staff, I believe, all of which, nearly all of which, are research active. So we're very keen that all our academics do both the teaching and the research, and it means that we can use the facilities for our research and our teaching, and I'll show you a little bit later on. So this is a really good time to come and join us at Loughborough, because we've just invested £55 million in new buildings and new labs and new facilities. So this is a great time to join us. If you join us in the last couple of years, I had to move my lab 3 times, and I had to move my office 3 times. So this is a nice time to join us where everything's brand new and ready to go. And I believe we have about 18,000 square meters of labs, lecture theatres, study space and offices. So we're a very big campus that covers many different things. Okay, so I think it might be my next slide. I'm going to show a video. So hopefully it'll work. It might just be a bit choppy. The sound should be okay, and it will just give you an overview of our labs and some of our facilities. Oh, apologies. There was another slide in between. So these are our MSc courses. So you can see that we're accredited by the IMechE, the IED, and the IET. So that is really important, because if you want to get chartered, then you need to tick that master's level of qualification to go on to get chartered. So your average engineer in the UK earns about £38,000, but your average chartered engineer earns about £68,000. So it's going to make a big difference to your career earnings if you can get chartered, and you need the MSc level of qualification as one of the boxes to go on and get chartered. So what courses have we got? So we have this Advanced Manufacturing Engineering and Management. So as the name suggests, that's a combination of a manufacturing and a management. And that's going to make you incredibly employable, because it's going to give you the technical engineering skills and also the management skills. And very few people think about studying manufacturing in the UK. People don't really quite know what it is. So it means that there's a lot of demand and relatively few engineers. If you're talking engineering design, it's a really nice course, because it combines the maths, the physics and the mechanics of engineering with the aesthetics, the shape, the form, the color, and the design, and the artistic design element. So it kind of combines that kind of form and function in one course. So we believe that the module director told me that there's only one other course in Australia in the world which has a similar blend of that form and function. So mechanical and electrical engineering, those 2 courses are probably pretty well understood by most people. So that is going to cover kind of just go into similar content that people do in an undergraduate level, but the MSc will go into more depth and cover a broader range of facilities. Then we have 2 communications modules. So these are quite similar. So this is all about making 5G work, and you can imagine how much growth there's going to be in terms of the Internet of Things, driverless cars, smart sensors, wearable technology. Everything's going to be connected, and to understand how the antennas work, the signal processing, the networks is really important. And we have a world-leading facility in terms of renewable energy. So I think we were the first university in the UK to actually start teaching the MSc in renewable energy, and we've graduated about 600 MSc students. So we have 3 variants of renewable energy course. So the standard renewable energy course, and then we also have another one which is distance learning, and that means that students can study while they're not at Loughborough. And they can watch lectures online, and we also have a really cool kind of lab measurement-based facility where students can do real measurements with real lab facilities when they're not in Loughborough. And the final course on the list is the European Masters in Renewable Energy. Again, that's a pretty unique course, because students will get the chance to study their first semester at Loughborough University, and then the second semester at a second European university. So you might study, for example, solar energy at Loughborough University, and you might go to a second university somewhere in Europe to study wind energy or something like that. And then students do their project placement normally in a company. So that's kind of those for kind of a range of different courses. So because I have about 10 different courses and only about 20 minutes, I'm not really going to say too much about all of them in any more detail than I've done. I'm just going to carry on. So I'm hoping the next slide will be the video slide, which will give you an idea about some of our labs and facilities.
I'm Professor Chris Backhouse at the Wolfson School. I'm the Associate Dean for Teaching, and my job is to make sure that all your degrees are up to date, relevant, and have the right technical content for your future careers in engineering. I'm really looking forward to welcoming you to the community of engineers at Loughborough for your degree here with us.
Bags are packed, are you ready to go?
The Wolfson School is a large multidisciplinary engineering school. We range from mechanical through to electrical, including robotics systems and sports technology. We offer master's degrees across all of our areas. We have a wide variety of staff supporting these who have all got industrial experience. Our degrees are focused on providing students with the skills and professional capabilities to move into high quality employment when they finish.
I wanna see how the world turns round.
We bring in students from all over the world into a community of staff and students which seems to give everybody a really good experience, both in terms of their personal life, but also we provide a technical content to our degrees which is second to none.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
We graduate more engineers in the UK than any other university, and we have the support and the facilities to provide a wonderful experience for all of our students.
Home is with you wherever that may be.
Okay, so hopefully you could watch that and the internet quality was okay. So yeah, that video, it always makes me smile. That the point where I'm walking down the stairs with my PhD student, he says, "Oh, I've made this amazing breakthrough. I've done this great piece of engineering. It's amazing. Everything works." And I got to the bottom and went, "Wow, that's brilliant. Congratulations." And then he said, "Oh, I haven't really. I was just making you smile just for the cameras we're walking down the stairs." So it's very frustrating every time I see that video again. But that's just a small selection of our labs and facilities that we have. So it's so important, as this slide shows, that I think it's maybe 1-2% of people who are kind of the geniuses who can look at a textbook and just understand the maths and understand engineering. For the rest of us, we have to learn in different ways, so blended techniques of lectures, tutorials, kind of questions, group projects, supervision, coursework, practical sessions. So that practical elements and the coursework and the tutorials is a really, really important way of reinforcing the learning. And because we have brand new lecture facilities, and we've just invested a lot of money in our lecture facilities, I would say pretty much 95% of our lectures, maybe more than that, maybe 98% of our lectures are going to be available to watch on lecture capture. So what this means is it's a bit like watching me talk now. You'll be able to see the slides and hear my voice, and you'll be able to go and then watch it on our online education facility, and then you can go and watch all that videos like 24 hours later for the entire year. So we have a resource where all the content that is needed gets placed online, but you can watch again later on. So obviously that's pretty great. If your first language isn't English, to be able to watch something twice sometimes is really helpful. Okay, so I think within our school we have 120 different Msc modules. So this gives you an idea of the assessment methods. So we have exams in January and exams in June. So you can see a very small fraction of our modules are exam only. And then the remaining half are coursework and exam. and half are just exam. So pretty much 95% of our modules are going to include some sort of coursework, and that coursework is going to be, it's normally going to involve either some simulations, modeling, or some practical measurements to build on the classes and do that. Okay, so this is my teaching. So a couple of weeks ago, we taught the antennas module. So we have students who come in and we teach them maths, and then we allow students to simulate the antenna using software. And then we have this, the robot at the top middle is our anechoic chamber. So this is about a £400,000 facility. So this was installed about a year ago. So again, this is great because we have research-based teaching. So we have research facilities, and we can have research-inspired teaching and use the same facilities for teaching and research. In my other one of my modules, like antennas on the body, we look at what happens when you hold your mobile phone to your head. So again, we have the world's leading software company who are just based just up the road, called Dassault Systems, and they come in and they do a workshop how to use their software. So a student simulates an antenna and then puts it next to the head and then puts a hand next to it, and then you can see how much energy is usefully being radiated to the base station and how much is being absorbed in the head. So that's what I did my PhD on quite a long time ago. But it's great for students to kind of get this experience of using this commercial software. So my top tip after about 20 years of studying this subject is, so mobile phones have adaptive power control. So if you have a really good signal, you don't have to transmit very much power. But if you have a really bad signal, your phone has to work really, really hard. And also, if you hold your phone a few centimeters away from your head, then you might reduce the amount of power going into your head from 50% down to 5%. So for me, whenever I have a really, really bad reception, I just consciously hold my phone a few centimeters away from my head when I make my phone calls. And then we also integrate our research and our teaching into this, into our modules. So, for example, in the top right-hand corner, we've got a 3D printed lens, and below it, you can see how the electromagnetic fields are focused. So we have, I'm part of this £5 million research project to try and 3D print the next generation of electronics. And this is something that one of my MSc students is working on right now, is to try and design new lenses that can make the beam more focused. And so my MSc students are working alongside my PhD students and researchers, and they're trying to do cutting edge, brand new science that no one has done before. So if we look at, so to give you an idea of a timetable, so students will typically start in October, then there's some, and they will generally start their project between October and May, and then there's exams in January and then May and June. And then, so they make some progress in their projects before then, but then they basically do their project full time between June and August. So again, these projects can be on a completely, you can see the variation and the diversity that your project can be about. So it's a pretty diverse thing. So you don't have to worry about this before you join the university. So what we will do, we will either put some project ideas on the website, or we will just run like a couple of lectures to give you an idea of what my project will be about. And then you can go and meet the academics and you can start working out what you want to do your project on. So you don't really have to think about these things before you join the university. We're sorted out when you're here. So those videos on the right hand side, one of my students said he fenced for the university and he wanted to make an intelligent fencing jacket. The video at the bottom is a student who wanted to kind of use a conventional inkjet printer and some conducting ink to make some antennas. But you can see that it can be about absolutely anything. And because all our academics are research active, it means that it's likely that you'll be working on some cutting edge things with nice facilities and alongside PhD students. So a lot of people are interested in doing a PhD. And it's really, really hard to find good people who want to do a PhD, right? Nobody really thinks about it. So my advice to you is if you really loved your individual project, then a PhD is a pretty fantastic thing to do. If you get up every morning and you're burning with curiosity about how do I do this, what happens when I do that, then a PhD is a pretty great thing, right? It's just a fun thing. If you're an EU student and there's funding, then you can get paid about £15,000 a year tax-free. If you're an international student from outside of Europe, then if there is funding, then your fees get paid, but you have to pay your living expenses. So you can start April, July, October, or January. So the easiest way of doing this is if you just Google Loughborough PhD, and then you select School of Mechanical, Electrical, Manufacturing Engineering, you will see all the PhDs that are currently being advertised. And then you can look through those and see which interest you. And then you can click on it, and there'll probably be an academic supervisor named, and you can contact them and they will give you some more details. So you can see that this School of Mechanical, Electrical and Manufacturing Engineering, we currently have about £50 million of active research. And this is about manufacturing, transports, sports technology, measurement, energy and power, control, communications, an incredibly broad diversity of things. So I think I'm currently involved in about £8 million of the school's research so my research goes from RFID tags to 3D printing to satellite antennas. Okay, so we're very, very proud of our careers network. So we hold, I think, the largest graduate careers fair in the UK or possibly in Europe. So that's twice a year, and we have over 100 companies attending. We also have a dedicated careers fair just for engineers. And I went to that this year, and there were over 75 companies attend. So you can understand how it gives you an idea of how in demand our students are, that companies are prepared to send 2 or 3 people to Loughborough in order to recruit our graduates and our students. So I think last year I saw somewhere that Loughborough had the highest level of industrial links of any UK university. And I think last year we were also ranked #1 in the UK in terms of our careers team. So we're very proud of our interactions with industry and our careers team and the support we can provide you to go on and do that. And as an MSc student, you also have a personal tutor who will be able to help you with your CV. And in school, we will also organise sort of CV sessions and interview sessions and give you some pointers about how you can start applying for jobs. So that's a really great thing, that because the UK has relaxed its visa rules and allows students to stay for 2 years after they graduate, this puts Loughborough makes Loughborough a great time to come and study with us, because we do have these exceptional links to industry. Okay, so where do our graduates go? Well, pretty much everywhere, right? I mean, everywhere is looking for engineers. I think UK genuinely needs about twice as many graduate engineers as we produce. So you can imagine that when we're ranked in the top 5 or top 10 in the country, and there's a real shortage of engineers in the UK, it means that our students are in a great situation to go out there and kind of pursue their careers in attractive sectors. Okay, so this is my last slide. So just to summarize that, so we're top 10 in all UK university league tables. We pretty much have, over the last decade, we have the best kind of student experience in terms of facilities, sports, careers, social life, safety, all of those sort of things. We're 5th in the UK for mechanical engineering and 3rd in the UK for electrical engineering. And we have kind of a lot of leading research as well as teaching inspired research. And because of those, we have great cutting edge facilities that is used both for your individual projects and for the coursework modules. So that was all I was planning to say. I'm hoping my Wi-Fi was good enough for you to be able to understand. So I'll be delighted if you have any questions. I'll be very happy to answer them.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Will, for the presentation. Fantastic. Yeah, we have had some questions coming in from students. I've got quite a few here in the Q&A, which are ready for you. Guys, if you do have any other questions, you can pop them into the chat, or if you want to put them into the Q&A, we can start to discuss them now. So, Will, I can read out a first question for you here if you like.
Sure, sounds good.
Cool. So this one is from Mahmoud, who is asking, is there a department of chemistry, specifically analytical chemistry?
There's definitely a department of chemistry, and there's also chemical engineering. I don't know if it's analytical chemistry, but there's definitely both a department of chemistry and chemical engineering.
Excellent. That answers your question there, Mahmoud. I've also put the link to the Loughborough University website in the chat, so I'm sure you can go on there and find out a bit more about specific courses too. So next question from Anna. Anna would like to know about the standard of scholarships. What kind of scholarships are available? And there are a few students, Win and Mahmoud as well, would like to know about this too. Does your university have a scholarship for international first-year students, for example?
Okay, good question. That's something I always forget to mention. So basically, we will give the MSc is just 1 year. So we would give for students who've got the equivalent of a first-class degree in their undergraduate degree, give a 20% reduction in fees. And if they got the equivalent of a 2-1, then they would get a 10% reduction in fees. So we have that same scholarship scheme across the whole university for all courses. So 20% if you have the equivalent of a first, and the 10% reduction in fees if you have equivalent of a 2-1.
Excellent. Yeah. I've also put a link to scholarships in the chat as well, so you should be able to find out more info there. Let's see. Mahmoud, another question from you. You got in fast today. Is IELTS or the TOEFL test required?
Yep, we require IELTS. We don't, well, previously we didn't accept TOEFL. This year is going to be such an extraordinary year that we might possibly consider that, but normally we only take IELTS. So I think from memory that students need to be averaging 6.5 overall with at least 6 in every individual aspect.
Okay, excellent. Let's see.
If you're studying in a university in UK or America, then we will waive that test because you've already studied in that English-speaking country.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. Let's see some good questions coming into the chat. So from Eunice, you're asking, thanks for this conference. I would like to ask about the PhD research subject. Is it proposed from the school or is it a personal project? And then secondly, how can I apply for PhD research in electrical engineering?
Okay, good question. So basically, there's basically 2 options. If you're rich and you can afford your fees, then to some extent you can choose what you want to do a PhD on, and people will be very happy to supervise you. Genuinely, if it is fees, it's going to be for a specific project. It's probably on a specific topic. So I would genuinely advise that your PhD would probably be on. I was going to go to a website, but I didn't because it wouldn't work. But I mean, right now we're advertising for maybe 20 or 30 PhDs, and that will give you an idea. So basically, we require students to write like a proposal to see how well you can plan your PhD. But ultimately, it's going to be, if a project is linked to a certain type of funding, then you will have to do that. If the funding is linked to a certain type of project, you have to do that project. And I'd also advise that 99% of PhD applicants I've ever seen want to do a PhD based on what their MSc project is about. So imagine if you're an MSc student, you've only ever experienced one project, whereas as academics, we've kind of seen hundreds. So therefore, MSc students are probably not best placed in terms of knowing what will be a good research area. But it's a bit of a combination of the two. I think first go to a website and see what PhDs are available, and then speak to the academic and say, if you're really interested in something, then there's obviously a bit of a leeway or a bit of a compromise. But yeah, if you Google Loughborough PhD, it will give you all the details about how you apply.
Yeah, excellent. Let's see, question here from Anna as well in the chat. I heard that Loughborough University has provided a free course about an MSc. Then what will happen after that 1 year? Do students need to take any exams? I'm surprised if Loughborough is offering a free MSc course, Will, but maybe you can...
I don't know of one. I don't know of one.
Yeah.
I don't think we are offering a free MSc course.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure. I've not heard of one. I don't think we are.
Yeah. Yeah, you might want to check that information, Anna, and yeah, you'll be able to find more details on the website there. So, okay, good question here from Nita. Nita's asking, are there any opportunities to work with industry whilst studying, like an internship?
Okay, so we don't offer internships as part of the MSc. I mean, to be honest with you, the MSc students in engineering, they work pretty flat out. So there's just no time to do internships in addition to your MSc, because your MSc is pretty much a full-time study. Like I said, all academics are working with industry. So it's quite possible that your individual project is going to be linked to a company, and therefore some MSc students will be indirectly working with companies, or possibly visiting them or liaising with industry as part of their project. But to be honest, there's just no, unless you're a super genius, you're not going to have the time or the energy to work or do an internship on top of your studies. So your MSc is pretty much a full-time course from starting in October and finishing in September.
Excellent, great. Let's see, question from Mason here. Does studying require financial demonstration? So I guess this is a kind of proof of funds or proof of ability to pay for the course. Mason, is that what you're asking?
Okay, you're right. So every student would have to pay fees. I presume you have to pay that at the beginning of the year. I actually don't know if students pay it all in one go at the beginning of the year or if it's staggered. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, you'd certainly have to pay fees before you start. I don't know if it's the whole fees or just half the fees or something. But yes, you would have to pay fees.
Okay, excellent. Question from Stack. How come Loughborough Uni doesn't have any fully funded MScs in EEE, which I assume is something engineering, but...
Oh, electrical engineering, right.
Yeah.
How come we don't have any? I don't know. I don't think there are any completely funded MSc courses across the whole of the university. So yeah, I don't think we have any. I mean, a few, maybe 5-10 years ago, we might have had a few for exceptional students, but it was so much logistical paperwork in order to manage these things that I think the university got rid of them. So I don't think any courses at Loughborough University have completely free MSc tuition.
Thanks. Excellent. Okay, Min, that question is not very helpful, so I'm not going to ask that, but let's see. Yeah, okay, joking, good stuff. So another question here from Mustak. Do you have any RA and TA funding opportunities?
So, I mean, when I'm doing my labs and my coursework, I will get my PhD students to help out a little bit for teaching, but it would not be possible to get MSc students to help out for teaching, because we need people, MSc students, to help out with the teaching or the research and get paid for it. Obviously, I'm heavily involved with the admissions, so I work quite closely with the international office. So therefore, they're always looking for student ambassadors to do telephone campaigns or to do promotional events. So that would be a kind of a way of earning some money and bring something back to Loughborough a little bit, but it wouldn't be directly involved in the teaching or the research.
Okay, excellent, excellent. Let's see, guys. I'm not seeing any other questions coming in, but if you would like to ask, I've just seen one here. Win is asking, I would like to ask the total fees, not just for study, but including accommodation, food, and tuition. I don't know if it's possible to give kind of,
Well,
yeah, I imagine
okay,
that would vary a little bit.
I think fees are about £22,000 per year. I'm not sure. But like I said, if you get a first class degree, then there's a 20% discount on your fees. My PhD student says he can live on £6,000 a year, but I'm not quite sure how he does that. I think probably £10,000 a year would be more realistic. Some people probably live on about £12,000 a year. So maybe Loughborough is a relatively cheap part of the world to live in, and therefore I think it would cost £10,000 to £12,000 a year to support yourself.
Oh, excellent, excellent. So, fantastic. Okay, guys, if there are no further questions, I think we can wrap up there. So I'd just like to say a very big thank you to Dr. Will for presenting today, fielding the questions. Thank you for joining us, Will.
Okay, thank you very much for listening. Take care.
Yep, and thanks everyone. I hope you found this useful and hope you can join us again for another webinar soon. So thanks very much. If you do have other questions you'd like to ask Will, if you search for Dr. Whitto online, you'll be able to find out his contact details, and I believe on Twitter as well. Well, so yeah, to find us soon. Okay, right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
take
you all.
care.
Cheers.
Have a good day. Stay safe. Bye.
Yeah, bye for now.